Here's your wrestling news for January 13th, 2026. Your headlines for today include WWE forced to cancel triple threat title match in Berlin, real reason revealed. Real reason behind Bron Breakker's WWE suspension, Pearce also affected. Why Finn Balor was offered CM Punk's title shot, actual reason finally confirmed. Fans call out WWE Raw for major logic flaw live on air. WWE Raw crowd reaction shows true public opinion of Cody Rhodes. Fallout from AJ Styles vs. Gunther match, what WWE is planning next, and more. Drew McIntyre's rise back to the top of WWE on the January 9th edition of SmackDown may have excited fans, but that's not how things were originally booked to play out. According to Bryan Alvarez, the Undisputed WWE Championship was initially planned to be decided in a triple threat featuring McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, and Jacob Fatu. That direction was set internally until Fatu abruptly disappeared from television due to a dental injury. You know, the original plan was for a Cody, Fatu, Drew three-way. Fatu obviously vanished for a long time, but now he's back and basically right where we were before all that happened. The change ultimately worked in McIntyre's favor. Instead of a triple threat, he faced Rhodes in a grueling 3 stages of hell match in Berlin. The final fall, held inside a steel cage, saw Jacob Fatu make a shocking return and take out both competitors. Despite the interference, McIntyre managed to escape the cage and capture his 4th World Championship. McIntyre leaving SmackDown as Undisputed WWE Champion wasn't simply a dramatic twist, the finish was intentionally crafted to accomplish several objectives at once. Put the title on Drew, protect Rhodes from taking a clean loss, and reintroduce Fatu directly into the main event scene. The result positioned all 3 men for the next phase of WWE's long-term plans. With Fatu now back and McIntyre holding the championship, WWE appears to be steering back toward its original direction, only with more momentum and fan interest than before. Whether the triple threat is still on the table remains to be seen, but the pieces are clearly in place. Should WWE revisit the triple threat this year, or was the one-on-one between McIntyre and Rhodes the better call? Share how you'd book the next chapter in the comments. Penta made his return to the ring this week, teaming with Dragon Lee to face the Vision's Austin Theory and Bronson Reed. The match itself was solid, but it didn't get the chance to reach a full conclusion. The finish arrived when Bron Breakker stormed in and triggered an immediate disqualification. Breakker tore through everyone in sight, leaving chaos in the ring as Adam Pearce watched from the stage, visibly frustrated. The tension eventually boiled over into a face-to-face confrontation, with Pearce stepping right up to Breakker. It appeared Pearce was the first to make physical contact, placing a finger on Breakker as a warning. Moments later, Breakker snapped, grabbing Pearce and threatening him as the situation escalated. Heyman and the rest of the Vision stepped in to calm things down, but their attempts to keep the peace fell apart quickly. The 2 sides were finally separated, and Breakker, along with the Vision, walked off. Backstage, Pearce responded swiftly, announcing that Breakker was suspended indefinitely. But the moment didn't end there. Paul Heyman approached Pearce with a warning, calling it the greatest mistake you've ever made, arguing that from his perspective, Pearce put his hands on Breakker first. The segment left several possible directions open. The Vision possibly taking control of Raw in Pearce's absence is one option. Another is the long-rumored return of Pearce as an in-ring performer, with this incident setting the stage for a future match between him and Breakker. That said, there's now a new perspective making the rounds. Several dirt sheets are reporting the real reason behind Breakker's suspension. According to multiple outlets, the suspension is simply a storyline reset. Keeping Breakker off TV for a short stretch gives his character space to cool off after the loss to CM Punk, while allowing WWE to reposition him for the next major chapter. The expectation among those sources is that the payoff will come at the Royal Rumble, with Breakker making a surprise return and potentially winning the entire match to set up a rematch with Punk at WrestleMania 42. Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. Backstage, Liv Morgan was shown urging Finn Balor to step up, reminding him that he's the only member of their group not chasing a championship. The tension carried into the next segment, which picked up after the commercial break. The World Heavyweight Champion CM Punk made his way to the ring to address the crowd following his successful defense against Bron Breakker last week. Punk spoke about entering the road to WrestleMania and how quickly things can change, pointing to Cody Rhodes' recent title loss as an example. He made it clear he plans to hold on to the gold for a long time and is moving past the Vision. Just as it seemed Punk was wrapping up, Balor interrupted. He told Punk he wasn't waiting for the Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber to demand a title shot. Punk fired back, saying he's been waiting for Finn to finally make a move, but instead has watched him play video games and shine Liv Morgan's shoes. That line drew a loud reaction from the crowd. Punk offered to defend the championship right then and there, which brought the crowd to its feet. Balor declined the immediate match, and instead proposing they do it next week in his home country of Ireland. Punk accepted, but warned that he would still be champion by the time the show leaves Ireland. The segment was straightforward, but it didn't need anything more. The matchup already has fan interest, and both Punk and Balor quickly established the stakes without overcomplicating the build. Do you think WWE will pull the trigger on a Finn Balor win to shake things up before the Royal Rumble? Share your thoughts below. There's a real reason Finn Balor is getting a World Heavyweight Championship match against CM Punk, and it's good news for fans who have been waiting for WWE to spotlight him again. According to reporting from Fightful in September 2025, WWE has been planning a renewed push for Balor heading into 2026. That plan is now taking shape, beginning with this title opportunity in his home country of Ireland. This match is also tied to Balor's current trajectory within the Judgment Day. His leadership has been questioned on screen for months, and WWE appears to be positioning him for a full babyface turn. If Balor comes up short against Punk once again, it could accelerate that shift, with internal tension in the Judgment Day finally boiling over. The likely direction, Balor being pushed out of the group and redirecting his focus toward Dominic Mysterio's Intercontinental Championship as WrestleMania season approaches. WWE has been planting the seeds for months, and this title match isn't just a hometown spotlight for Balor, it's the official beginning of his next major chapter. There was an interesting moment during CM Punk's promo when he said he plans to remain World Heavyweight Champion forever, while also admitting that the road to WrestleMania is full of unpredictability. To drive the point home, he added, "Just ask my friend Cody Rhodes," which immediately drew loud boos from the crowd.
Just ask my friend Cody Rhodes.
The reaction clearly surprised Punk, especially given that Cody had only just lost his title. The moment highlighted a noticeable shift in how some fans are responding to Rhodes and how quickly the atmosphere can change in the WrestleMania season. Do you think WWE should listen to the crowd and pivot Cody Rhodes into a heel role? Share your thoughts in the comments below. This week's main event featured AJ Styles going one-on-one with Gunther after Styles took personal offense to Gunther bragging about retiring John Cena. The tension set the stage for their clash. Early in the match, Styles appeared to have the upper hand, controlling the pace until one massive chop from Gunther set him crashing from the apron to the floor as the show headed to a commercial break. As expected, the two veterans delivered. They paced the match well, sold every major moment, and made each other look like legitimate threats throughout the contest. In the closing stretch, Gunther managed to break free from the calf crusher by repeatedly driving Styles' head into the mat. Styles reacted by securing the hold again and believed he'd earned the submission, but when he released it, the referee had missed the tap entirely, leaving the finish in question. Gunther capitalized on the confusion. With the official's back turned, he landed a low blow and followed up with a powerbomb to score the victory. The finish came off somewhat unclear, as cameras never showed whether Gunther tapped, hinting strongly that this rivalry is far from finished. How would you book the next chapter of this feud? Share your ideas in the comments below. One of the newest NXT call-ups was in action this week as Javon Evans went up against Bravo Americano, Tyler Bate, representing 1/3 of the Americano trio. As expected, El Grande and Rayo Americano, Pete Dunne, were at ringside to back their partner. Their involvement didn't take long. Rayo caught up the referee's attention at the perfect moment, allowing El Grande to slip in a kick that shifted the momentum in Bravo's favor. Bravo followed up with a quick slam for a 2 count before trying to slow Evans down with a grounding headlock. Evans eventually fired back. The young OG launched himself over the top rope with a dive. Moments later, the OG cutter sealed the victory. The match was short, but both sides made the most of the time, mixing in a handful of dynamic spots to keep the crowd invested. Evans looked strong, though he was forced to retreat once all 3 masked members of the Americano trio swarmed him after the bell. With a bit more time and a chance for Bravo to work his own style, this easily could have been one of the standout matches of the night. As a small side note, it was disappointing that Ludwig Kaiser didn't get the chance to perform as himself in front of his home country crowd. Raw opened with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley making their way to the ring as the new women's tag team champions. Ripley acknowledged the long road they took to defeat the Kabuki Warriors and claim the titles, and said they were ready to issue an open challenge. Before she could finish, Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez arrived to stake their claim. Moments later, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria joined the mix. It was a familiar setup, the new champions surrounded by multiple teams, each wanting the next shot. WWE has used this format countless times, and it remains an easy way to establish several possible directions for the division. As the segment wrapped, Asuka and Kairi Sane appeared from behind and dragged the champions out of the ring, sparking a brief brawl. Ripley and Sky recovered quickly and cleared the field. While effective in showcasing the champion's strength, the moment did little to establish any challengers as genuine threats. A triple threat match featuring all three teams from the opening segment was later announced to determine the #1 contenders. Once the match began, the pace moved quickly. Asuka tagged out early after a short exchange, followed by the other competitors, bringing all three fresh partners into the ring at once. With 6 strong performers involved, the match worked well from the outset. Sane was a standout throughout, both in her in-ring work and her charisma. Even when she wasn't legal, she added energy to the match, including a lighthearted moment where she danced on the apron while the crowd sang along with Bayley. WWE appears to have toned down the mood swing portion of Bayley's character, which is likely for the best given how unclear the arc had become. Perhaps the most puzzling sequence came when Bayley held on to her teammate during a double German suplex, an illogical choice that only made the situation worse for her corner. A short while later, things became clunky again as the referee informed Asuka that Sane's attempted pin on Morgan wasn't legal without a tag. Aside from those slips, the match held together well. Morgan closed things out by pinning Sane with Oblivion, securing the win for her team. Morgan and Perez are now officially the #1 contenders and will challenge Rhea Ripley and Io Sky at Saturday night's main event in a few weeks. Do you think the women's tag titles should stay with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, or is it time for new champions? Share your thoughts below. Raquel Rodriguez made her intentions clear tonight as she continued her pursuit of the Women's World Championship. During an interview with Michael Cole, Stephanie Vaquer stepped out with her boot still supporting the injured ankle, only for Raquel to immediately unload on her. It was a dominant statement and one that matches the kind of momentum Raquel has been building in recent weeks. She's been looking stronger than ever, and there's a real argument that WWE might want to consider giving her a run with the Women's World title. Even so, the expectation is that Stephanie retains, but at this point, either outcome feels justified based on how Raquel has been presented. It looks like WWE may be setting up the Usos versus Otis and Akira Tozawa, and honestly, it's the kind of matchup that could surprise a lot of people. We'd love to see Otis and Tozawa pull off the upset, but realistically, it's hard to imagine WWE booking them to get the win over the Usos at this stage. Still, it would be a fun moment if it happened. Raw also featured Maxine Dupree gearing up for next week, where she'll step back into the ring for her rematch against Becky Lynch. Do you think the title should change hands next week? Sound off in the comments below. That's Raw for this week, guys. What did you think of the show overall? Were you expecting Finn Balor to be the one getting a shot at Punk's title? And how would you handle Braun Breaker's suspension if you were booking it? Don't miss our next video coming at 5:30 p.m. Eastern with all the latest wrestling updates. Smash that bell icon and select all notifications so you're always in the loop.